Hi, welcome to Daddykirbs Farm. Today, we're not on Daddykirbs Farm. We're going to be grafting some peach trees for a friend of ours. She has 2 peach trees. One of them, grafted variety that is doing well. The other one is one that died down to the ground because of a garage fire. It started growing back at some point from the rootstock, so we're going to use the vigor of this rootstock to give her a new tree just like the first tree. Now this is my first time grafting a tree, so you get to experience my first experience. Some of the things I do may be slightly different than someone else who does it on a regular basis, but hopefully I learned something from this and you can too. This is the tree that grew back from the rootstock. We're going to leave this branch as a nurse branch, cut this tree off at this point, and do our grafts right there. We're going to snip some of these smaller branches off just to get them out of the way. We don't need those. Right here's where we're going to make our cut. This is the large branch that I cut off of the original tree. So I'm going to get my scion wood, which is the branches that we're going to graft onto the new tree, off of this. Now from what I understand, you need last year's season's growth that's about a pencil thick. So I'm just going to go and find 3 or 4 branches on here that I think are suitable for grafting and cut them off. I found 4 branches that I think are pretty suitable for grafting. So we're going to try to put 3 or 4 of them around this new cut and see if we can get a couple of them to take. We're going to be doing what is called a bark graft, which means we're going to shave the scion wood down and place it between the bark and the wood so that the cambium layer of the scion wood and the rootstock is touching. We're going to shave the end of the scion wood about 2 inches down on both sides. We're going to use our flat, sharp grafting knife to just cut straight into that outer bark. And we're going to just lift the bark on both sides. We're going to take the end of the scion wood and try to slip it right down between that bark. The goal is to get the cambium layer of the scion and the rootstock to touch on both sides. Okay, we're coming to the other side of the tree here. Now on this side, that faces the driveway, so we're going to try to keep the growth on the outsides, and this side here, we're going to put 3 of them in. So I slip that straight into the bark, and I'm just turning both directions. With that scion wood trimmed down, again, we're going to try to get that to slide in between the bark and the inner wood there. Now we're going to try one more on the outside, and then we'll get it all wrapped up. Now with that 3rd scion wood cut, we're going to slide it in here just like the first 2. Now with all 3 new branches, with all 3 grafts in place, I'm using a piece of bicycle inner tube that I'm going to hold all this in place. So we're just going to wrap it around, starting at the bottom, overlap, and wrap it tightly. This is going to protect those branches and hold it all together. Keep the weather out and hold them tightly in place. Once I get to the top layer, I'm just going to hold that out, pull it tight, stick it down through the top there, and that should snug it up pretty good. Now with 3 of these in place and all tied together with that inner tube, we need to do a couple more things. One is to seal it to keep the weather out, the rain and the sun off of this cut. And we're also going to trim these down because they don't need to be that tall. So first I'll take my pruners and I'm going to find an outward facing bud and I'm going to cut just above that. All right, now that looks good. We're going to take our pruning sealer. I know there are solutions that you can make at home that's wax and pitch and different things. I didn't know how to make it, and just to get this job done I went and bought some. So we're going to coat all the exposed cut really well. We don't want any rain to get down inside these cuts. Now on this rootstock, we have 3 new grafts that hopefully at least one of them will take, and we have a nurse branch. The reason we're leaving this nurse branch on is so that the energy this spring, when everything starts growing, the energy of the tree can go into this rootstock and produce leaves, which will help the rest of this be a healthier tree, maybe giving these a better chance to take. Once we know that one of these or several of these are taking, we can cut this nurse branch off and have only the grafted variety growing up. Back on the original tree, I'm going to cover the large cuts with my pruning sealer. Then I'm going to go into this tree and cut out a lot of this inner growth just to help this tree produce better for her this year. Now that the main tree is cleaned up, the center is opened and it looks pruned and pretty, hopefully it produces well this year. And this tree hopefully will grow some new graft branches to produce the same delicious fruit that this tree does. Thank you so much for joining me on my first experience grafting a fruit tree. Hopefully I did something right and this works. If you know of something I didn't do right or could have done better, please leave comments below. If you learned something from this and you appreciated the video, give me a thumbs up. Thank you again for watching me. I'll talk to you soon.